Hello and welcome to another episode of the Be You Babe podcast, where it's truly about being yourself and being able to communicate clearly what you do. And today I had an idea for a podcast and decided I'm not actually going to do that. I want to do something else. True manifesting generator, right? Today I want to talk about the five different types and how they each approach writing and using their voice in a different way. We all have our own unique voice, right? But the five different types kind of I've noticed, approach writing, approach content, approach all of it in kind of a unique way. And I wanted to break it down so that if you're struggling with writing content, clarifying your message, really sitting in a plateau perhaps of like, I thought I knew what I was doing and I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I've been there so many times. Um, you can find a little bit of clarity from this podcast and lean a little bit more into who you are authentically and kind of and unblock what that boulder in your path is. Okay. So let's start. Who do we want to start with? I'm going to start with reflectors because they are so often the last ones. So, reflectors, I'm going to start with your strategy of waiting 30 days. And I never want anyone to feel like they can't post something if they truly feel like they want to post something, right? So, we're not asking you to wait 30 days or anything like that to post, but it is a strategy of being really, really in tune with your own rhythm. What is your rhythm throughout the day in how you feel in your emotions and in your body? And really tuning into that. And when do you feel connected to your guidance? Because ultimately, reflectors are incredibly intuitive, right? They have all these open centers and they're constantly bringing in the energy of others and the collective, right? They're incredibly intuitive. But if they're stuck in their head or running around or trying to figure things out, right? They're not connected. You're not connected to your body anymore. So, how can you slow down, really slow down, and connect back to your body and feel into the rhythm, right? When you're creating content, it's then getting into that space because everyone needs to be in their own energy before creating content, right? Especially if you don't want to copy other people. But for reflectors, when you're creating content, creating an environment that feels so juicy and like inspiring and uplifting and all. Like, I think feng shui for reflectors would be incredible because it's aligning the space, the energy of your space to what you're trying to create. Which Lisa, this episode's already not gonna air until after, but Lisa and I, Elben and I are doing a feng shui and human design program that is so cool. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I need that, Lisa and I are putting one together and you'll likely see it because I'm sure we're going to do it more than once. Um, but really creating an environment that is supportive of you creating content. Your voice is like, it's like a mirror, but you feel really comforting to people and oddly motivating. And I'm not sure why I say oddly, but you're you're like a big sister that we come to with advice, right? You always have a really great way of helping us see a different perspective of our problem. So your voice is comforting as well as like inspiring to look at things in a different way, right? And then generally what's blocking reflectors is they get stuck in thinking that it has to be one way and one way only. And especially for reflectors, it's not, right? You get to choose what your voice really sounds like. You get to choose what you're talking about. Like, it's all fluid, direction, identity, all of it is super fluid. So the more that you can embrace that fluidity and trust that it's all leading where you want to go, the better off you're going to be. So where are you restricting the fluidity in your business? Okay. Now, generators. Let's do you, my lovely generators. The sacral power, all of your powers in your sacral. You are wildly, wildly powerful. But what I'm seeing in, well, hold up. I'm getting ahead of myself. Your strategy is to respond, right? So, and I hear this a lot of like, I don't have anything to respond to. I don't know what that looks like, right? And again, if you are stuck in your head, or honestly, if you're stuck in emotions too much, the sacral gets dimmed. It doesn't come through as loudly and you don't hear it. Likewise, if you are constantly running on adrenaline and running, your sacral doesn't have space either. It's already tapped out, right? So building in time, this goes back to creating content, building in time that you sit and do nothing. I think we all could benefit from this, whether you're a generator or not. But building in time where you literally sit and do nothing. I try to do this every day for like 15 minutes, whether it's sitting on the couch, sitting outside if the weather permits. It's just nothing. It's allowing my brain to shut off if it wants to shut off. Sometimes I'm thinking about work. Sometimes I'm thinking about my kids or what we're going to do. But I try to like just observe the thoughts and not be the thoughts, right? And allow my body just to kind of rest, allow my mind to rest and just come back to being. And that has opened up so much sacral power and in just space for the sacral to say yes and to be excited and lit up about certain things. With your strategy to respond, conversational. Can't tell you how, like, I was against doing interviews initially for the podcast, but how great that conversation, the ability to have that conversation with people has opened up so much possibility for myself, for the podcast, for all of it, right? So where can you draw in more conversation to your life? Can you have more lives and conversation that way? Can you have more, I don't know, workshops or something where you have, you can talk to people back and forth, right? So your voice is conversational, but it's also kind of motivating because we get, especially when the generator's lit up, right? It's like, oh yeah, I can do it. I got all this stuff. Like I can do it. It's very motivational, right? And the thing that is blocking most generators is I, it's the details, right? Like they want to have all these details figured out before they take the next step. They've got to have like the whole strategy in place, right? They have to know exactly what's going to happen, or it's really hard to take that first step. And that's not the way any of it works. Like you can't know what's going to happen 10 steps from now because half of them will change between here and there, right? All you need to know is, do you trust your path? Do you trust that things are always working out for you? And can you take this one step forward? Is that one step closer to what you want? And if the answer is yes, then go for it, right? Like stop making it harder. Stop putting that boulder in your path, blocking your flow because you have to have all the answers figured out right now. So let's go on with manifesting generators, since we're in the generator category. And again, strategy, conversational, right? But it's also allowing yourself the grace and the room to play, right? I feel like when I get in a room with a lot of manifesting generators, we're all like buzzing up here. We're like, and with ideas and like so much potential. And we almost lose sight of the smaller picture in the now, we get so excited, right? And the strategy, though, is that you get up in that high buzzing air and you forget to come back down and check in with, like, okay, what do I have capacity for right now? What do I have capacity for in my life that I can fully commit to, right? When you're creating content, then it's again, it's making sure that you're not overloading your life so much that you don't have time to think. You won't be creative when you can't think or when you're like overloaded, right? You can't be creative. How can you create more space in your life to just be? And maybe even tapping back into some type of creative modality that really is just for you. It's not for anyone else. I know maybe this is just the entrepreneur in me, but I always want to take some hobby and monetize it somehow. I really have to stop doing that. It's not about monetizing. It's about allowing yourself a creative outlet to express yourself, right? Um, your voice that is it's conversational, but it's also really inspiring because you have so many ideas and so you're buzzing, right? It's very inspiring for people to be around and they want to be around that, right? What's blocking most manifesting generators, though, is that, oh, I feel like I'm like totally calling myself out right now. Ah, you say yes to too many things. And yeah, you say yes to too many things. Totally calling myself out right now. I, yeah. So, how can you make sure that you're tapping into your authentic self? Um, and making sure that you have the capacity for the full commitment and that this is really the direction that you want to go. And not just like hurtling yourself into things because it's really exciting in the moment. Um, and really being cognizant of that buzzing energy. It's great, right? There's so much power in that buzzing energy, but it can also derail when it's in the driver's seat. We don't want it in the driver's seat. We want it fueling. It's like the coal truck behind the engine, right? It's fueling everything else, but it's not in the driver's seat. Um, so making sure you have that downtime so that you can truly tap into the sacral and know when things are a yes and when things are a no. All right. Who do we have? Projectors. Projectors, your strategy is oh lovely waiting for the invitation, right? How much if you're a projector, all I can so many they say initially is like, I hated that. Like, I don't want to wait. Who wants to wait for someone to invite me to something, right? The idea is that you get to share whatever you want to share first and foremost without an invitation on social media, on your platforms, right? Those are your platforms to use your voice. The people that come to you, it's like it's their choice to come and listen to you, right? So on your platforms, you get to share whenever and however you want, right? And when you're creating content, though, it's really sitting with first, what do I see really needs to be addressed right now? What have I healed or done that I know can help someone right now? Where do I feel the energy needs to shift in order for people to really see the root of the problem, right? You're really good at that. Your voice is very like, it's like a best friend, right? Especially when it's a um, authentic projector that's really in their power. It is like going to talk to your best friend. Like she totally is going to get it. She's going to get you. She's going to then be like, what if you just did this? And it's like a tiny tweak. And you're like, oh, that's it. Right. But the projector, the empowered projector, has to first truly see their own gift, right? I think that's the hardest thing for the projector to see is their own gifts, right? So even if somebody has to call it out, like, you're really good at this, this is really a gift. And then truly seeing the power of that gift, right? And not going out going, is my gift good enough? Will people pay me for this gift? Because that's the disempowered projector, right? What's likely blocking the projector is, like I said, it's this energy of, I'm not sure this is good. I'm not sure this is good enough. I'm good enough, right? I need a little validation from the world out there to know if my gift is worth paying for, right? And that's backwards. We have to do that inner work first and know that it is and that you are. And then it's like, oh, I just get to share my wisdom, all my thoughts and my insights. And I know that people are going to come and want to be a part of what I'm doing, right? And I should also say it's projectors are definitely storytellers. Their content comes better across as a story of some kind, right? Um, and there was one other thing. Dang it. Okay. Anyway, I'll come back. um, Manifestors are the last ones. Their strategy is initiating, right? They're the ones that supposedly can go out and make it happen, mostly, right? And in creating content as a manifester, it's really important to understand this vision that you're going to. Where are you leading people? And because if you don't know where you're leading people, it's going to be really hard to write content. It's going to feel like you're copying everyone else. Your messaging and your copy is really different, bold, than everyone else, right? So if you don't know this vision of where you're taking people, it's going to be a lot harder to create content that is impacting people and people are drawn to, right? We really want that like big picture, like, oh my gosh, tell me what is freaking possible, manifester, right? And when you're creating content, sitting in possibility, sitting in, ooh, well, if they believe this, what could be possible for them? Or if they did this, what's possible for them? And really sitting in that playground of possibility will, I think, ignite so much fun and um, just new ideas that you can initiate in other people. Your voice is bold and generally not for everyone. And I mean, you can say that for all the types, but your voice, it is bold. It's bold and you're saying things that are like, oh, well, yeah, I like that. I had never thought of it like that, right? What's blocking most manifestors, though, is that they don't, it's not that they don't, it's they've blocked their defined channels to their throat. They've blocked them and shut them down because somewhere along the line, someone told them that it wasn't, their opinion didn't matter, they didn't matter, or that their ideas were bad, right? So to stay safe, they shut those channels down. And now, as an entrepreneur, those channels are what you're going to be known for. Those channels are what your business is built around. So if they're blocked because you don't feel safe, because you don't feel that it's okay to share your ideas and share your desires, then it's going to be really hard to build the business that you want. So where are you shutting down? When you want to say something, where are you shutting down? Why are you shutting down? Really getting curious with yourself. What story are you telling? And then you can clear that story, right? And get those channels flowing again. Take that boulder out, that terrible story, right? That your message doesn't matter. It does. So that the defined channel can flow and flow really powerfully. Excuse me. So that's the 5 types. And yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I feel that as usual, I had a really big plateau at the beginning of this year, and I'm coming out on the other side with new perspective and going, think I want to change things again. Dang it. I really pity my business coach. But I think she gets it. I think she understands it and knows how to work with it. Right. And I'm starting to see how it all works together too, how I can use this power of shifting to catapult things and not just be like, oh, well, I'm done and like leave it behind. Like all of it builds on each other, right? And everything is leading to something bigger. So it's just a matter of really harnessing the power of where I'm at and what I'm doing now and knowing that I can leave this and it can still live, even though I've moved on to the next thing, right? So I know that was very vague. Anyway, I am so excited. It's spring here in the mountains. I have my door open for the first time in months and it's starting to warm up. And I'm so, so excited. My kids are done with school this week. It's all, it's summer and I love this energy. So I hope you're having a fantastic week. I hope this was super helpful. If you're curious about more on like how to unblock yourself or what your voice is, I do have some offers and in the coaching realm. So if you're like, I want help really being confident in my voice, in my message, in who I am, then please reach out. I do have some offers that are not on my website currently, um, but that are I've sold several times now, and are still not on my website. um, and we can talk about what it would look like to support you in really clearing your channels and being confident in who you are and lit up because that's how everything is magnetized to you. So have a great day, my friends.